Why your compliments fail. Imagine this. You watch her, admire her. Every glance, every word, every effortless movement pulls you in. Finally, you speak, "You're beautiful." She smiles, nods, maybe says thanks. But something's off. She's distant, unmoved. The moment fades into nothing. It didn't work. It should have meant something, stirred something. But your words, weightless, forgettable. Why? Men think compliments open doors. They don't. They slide past her like whispers in the wind. But if a man of status, mystery, presence says the exact same words, everything changes. His words linger. They carry weight. Is she ungrateful, selective, or is something deeper at play? Here's what most men don't realize. The problem isn't the words, it's you. Compliments should create connection. But when misused, they push her away. Instead of making her notice you, they make you invisible. Because words only matter when spoken by a man who matters. You think you're evaluating her, deciding if she's worthy of admiration. But it's the opposite. She is evaluating you. Every compliment signals something, not about her, but about you. Does your presence match your words? If not, they dissolve into air. She doesn't reject the compliment, she rejects you. The question isn't, why didn't my compliment work? It's, what did my compliment reveal about me? Most men's words go unnoticed. The rare few, they captivate without even speaking. Why? Because perception is power. Let's strip away the illusion. Let's expose the raw truth. Once you understand this, you'll never see attraction the same way again. The hidden truth about compliments. Most men think compliments are gifts, freely given, gratefully received. They're not. Compliments are transactions, and their value depends entirely on who's speaking. Imagine a man in a jewelry store admiring a diamond. The owner barely reacts. He already knows its worth. Now, imagine a world-renowned jeweler examines that same stone, pauses, then says, "This is remarkable." Same words, completely different impact. Why? Because his opinion carries weight. A compliment means nothing if the man behind it lacks presence. If he's uncertain, unnoticed, or unseeking approval, his words vanish like static noise. But if a man of status, power, and control speaks, his words echo. Marcus Aurelius said, "Do not waste what remains of your life speculating about others. If you must look at them, do so only to understand yourself." Most men obsess over her reaction. They wonder, why didn't she appreciate my words? Why didn't she see my sincerity? Wrong question. The real question, what did my words reveal about me? Because the value of a compliment isn't determined by her. It's determined by you. How compliments lower your status. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Validation, when given too freely, makes you look lower in value. Why? Because the men who women desire most aren't the ones flooding them with praise. They're the ones who make women crave their validation. A compliment from a high-status man? A reward. Rare. Precious. A compliment from a man seeking approval? Cheap. Forgettable. And here's where it gets worse. Complimenting suggests pursuit. And in every power dynamic, business, nature, psychology, the one who chases is always perceived as lower in value than the one being chased. A king doesn't chase his subjects. A celebrity doesn't beg for attention. A powerful man doesn't hand out validation to those who haven't earned it. When you compliment too freely, she doesn't see it as a reflection of her worth. She sees it as a reflection of yours. The men who don't need to compliment. A man who understands this, he doesn't flood a room with praise. He doesn't try to impress with words. His presence alone commands attention. And when he does choose to acknowledge someone, it strikes like lightning. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Weak men look outward, seeking, complimenting, chasing validation. Strong men look inward, grounded, unshaken, becoming the kind of man people naturally notice. This is why most men's compliments fail. Not because women don't appreciate admiration, but because admiration only has value when it's scarce. Men who truly understand this, they don't need to compliment often, because women already feel the desire to be validated by them. And now comes the bigger question. What are the unseen consequences of giving validation too freely? Because the damage isn't just rejection, it shapes how the world perceives you. Let's go deeper. The hidden cost of compliments. You think a compliment is harmless, a simple gesture, a polite nod of appreciation. It's not. A poorly placed compliment doesn't just fail, it lowers your value. Every time you praise her beauty, her subconscious ranks you lower in the hierarchy of men. Why? Because validation is a currency. And in today's world, it's inflated beyond worth. Why your words mean nothing. Attractive women live in a constant flood of validation. Likes, comments, attention. By the time your compliment arrives, it's just more background noise. You think you stand out. You blend in. But it gets worse. A man who freely gives admiration signals that he expects nothing in return. He's too easy to impress, and that is repellent. Not because women are cruel, but because perceived value matters. The moment she senses you put her above yourself, she categorizes you as lesser. Let's break it down. 1, you compliment her. 2, she accepts, but with no emotion. 3, sensing this, you compensate, trying harder, offering more validation. 4, she places you in the seeking approval category. 5, you feel the shift but don't understand why, so you try harder. 6, and just like that, you've lowered yourself in her eyes. The worst part, you never even realized it. It's not just how she sees you, it's what this does to your mind. Every time you place a woman on a pedestal with unearned words, you reinforce a dangerous belief that you must prove your worth. This belief spreads into your relationships, into your work, into your life. Suddenly, you're no longer leading, you're performing, trying to convince others to see your value. And here's the brutal truth. People don't admire approval seekers. They admire those who radiate value without needing validation. This is why the Stoics warned against desire. Seneca said, "He who is controlled by desire is weak. He who is controlled by nothing is free." Most men need to be seen, validated, admired, and that need makes them invisible. A man who needs nothing, who speaks only when necessary, who validates only when earned, becomes magnetic. He does not chase, he does not prove, and in that stillness, he commands respect. Why society conditions men to seek approval? This isn't just about individuals, it's by design. A man who believes his value must be earned through validation is a man forever at the mercy of others. He will always work harder to be accepted. He will always prioritize approval over mastery. And a world full of men like this, a world where true masculine presence is nearly extinct. Contrast this with the Stoics, warriors, leaders of history. They didn't chase approval, they embodied presence. They didn't hand out attention. They made the world earn it, and because of that, they were followed, respected, desired. Now, ask yourself, which man are you becoming? Because if you don't shift now, the damage is already happening. Your words are either currency or noise. Your presence is either powerful or forgettable. And now that you see the hidden cost of validation, what will you do next? Let's go deeper, because the solution isn't just stopping what weakens you. It's about breaking free entirely, from the one who chases to the one who is sought after. Now, let's talk about the rebellion. You've been playing the wrong game. Your whole life, you've been chasing approval, handing out validation like a beggar, hoping someone sees your worth. But the truth, you were never meant to seek approval. You were meant to command respect. Men who understand this don't chase validation. They become the source of it. And that changes everything. Step 1. Cut the addiction to approval. Every time you seek validation, you reinforce weakness. Neediness is the disease of the modern man. The Stoics knew this long before psychology caught up. Epictetus warned, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Because the moment you stop playing the game, people feel unsettled. They wonder, why is he not seeking my validation? So here's the challenge. 1 month of zero validation-seeking behavior. No unnecessary compliments. No chasing attention. No trying to be seen. At first, it'll feel unbearable, but then you'll feel your own presence again. And so will everyone else. Step 2. Make validation rare. A man's words are currency. Spend them recklessly and they lose value. A man who throws compliments at every woman bankrupts his worth. But a man who validates sparingly, his words turn to gold. Powerful men don't withhold admiration. They understand its power. So, before you speak, ask yourself, has she earned this? Does this reflect my standards? Because if you don't hold your words to a higher standard, neither will she. And when you finally do give validation, it will feel rare. It will feel earned. Step 3. Stop pleasing, start testing. Most men try to win a woman's favor. The men who captivate do the opposite. They test. A king doesn't bow to his subjects. He makes them prove their loyalty. A powerful man doesn't chase approval. He filters out who's worth his time. So stop asking, does she like me? Ask yourself, does she intrigue me? Does she deserve admiration? Does she have qualities that are rare? This one shift flips the dynamic. Instead of seeking validation, you force her to evaluate herself in your presence. And now, she's the one who wants to impress you. Step 4. Master the power of absence. The greatest mistake a man makes, being too available. In relationships, in business, in life, abundance breeds indifference. The more people expect your presence, the less they value it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Withdraw into yourself." But first, prepare yourself to be worthy of such withdrawal. Step back, strategically. Let absence create presence. When you disappear, people start noticing. They wonder why you're no longer seeking their approval. And in that void, attraction is born. Not because you played a game, but because you stopped playing the wrong one. Step 5. Become the standard. Attraction isn't about words, it's about presence. Powerful men don't explain. They don't need to be seen, because their presence is already felt. This isn't arrogance, it's transformation. When you stop seeking approval, when you stop giving validation before it's earned, you stop being just another man. You become the one who shifts the room when you walk in. The man whose words, when finally spoken, carry weight. And when you reach this level, women don't just want your validation. They feel lucky to have it. Now, let's take this further. Let's talk about the final truth. The insight that changes everything. The realization that makes it all click. Because once you understand this, you will never see yourself, or the world, the same way again. The lie you've been living. Everything you know about attraction, validation, and self-worth, a lie. You were never meant to chase approval, never meant to prove your value. The greatest mistake, believing your worth depends on how others see you. Truth most men ignore. You don't need to be noticed. You need to be undeniable. And the second you let go of validation, you stop playing the game. You start defining it. Stop seeking, start commanding. A man who seeks validation is a leaf in the wind, bending, adjusting, waiting to be chosen. A man who owns his presence, he becomes the wind. Marcus Aurelius said it best. A man's worth is no greater than the worth of his ambitions. Most men just want to be liked, seen. Great men, they become so grounded in their craft, their mission, their existence, that people feel their presence before they even speak. This is why history's most powerful figures, warriors, emperors, philosophers, never begged for approval, because they didn't need it. Why women are drawn to presence, not praise. Women aren't cruel, they don't love the chase. But neediness, it signals weakness. The moment you seek validation, you lower your status. The moment you exist fully, confidently, without needing to be seen, you become magnetic. A man who commands respect without words is always more attractive than one who tries to impress. Because presence isn't given, it's earned. The man who cannot be ignored. Think of the men you respect most. Are they loud, desperate for attention, or do they move with quiet certainty, an aura that demands respect without a single word? That's true presence, not withholding validation as a trick, but becoming the source of it. Seneca once said, "He who is brave is free," and true bravery? Existing without needing anyone's approval. The final shift from seeker to source. Every man faces a choice, seek validation or become the source. The seekers, always questioning, why doesn't she see me? Why don't they respect me? The builders, the creators, the leaders, they don't ask, they define the game. And here's the paradox. The moment you stop seeking approval, the moment you stop trying to be noticed, That's when everyone starts noticing you. The last lesson. Become the axis of your own universe. You're either the axis of your world, or you orbit someone else's. Weak men orbit, they chase, they react. Men of presence, they stand still, and the world moves around them. They don't seek validation, they don't beg to be seen. Yet, ironically, they are the most noticed men in the room, because they aren't chasing, they are being, and that is what makes them unforgettable. Now, the choice is yours. Keep seeking, or become undeniable.